We also very quickly became a team.
Yeah.
So when it came to our families or like demands, and for anyone who's from an Asian family or an Indian family knows that
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like family is a big deal, and
Yeah.
it gets very involved in a relationship. And I remember saying to her really early on, I was like, it's me and you, like we're a team,
Yeah.
like it's us. And we have to think like that because we've got to wake up next to each other every single day of our lives. We've got to go to sleep together with each other every day of our lives. We've got to be in each other's face and space every single day of each other of our lives. So it's us. We have to be a team. And then very quickly, like I found that when it was anything to do with my family or my commitments, etc., then I would have her back. And then whenever she was anywhere and it was about me, she would have my back. And that built like a really strong bond early on.
Yeah. And even if we wanted to discuss it between us and we had a different opinion to the other person, at least to the like people that we were speaking to, if we had each other's back, the other person felt supported and comforted by that. Whereas I feel if you're it's just so hard to fight that battle between the person that you love and like the people that you've spent your whole life with. But I think when you know when you understand the reason behind it, I keep coming back to that, but I really think it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
I remember earlier on in our relationship when we were talking about spending time with each other's family or even each other, you said something to me which has stuck with me for a really long time,
I'm scared
till
now.
now. No, it was really good. He was saying how, you know, we can spend so much quantity of time with people and it can be spent doing so many different things. You're with each other, but you're actually doing like, okay, you're watching a film or you're on your phones or you're spending the whole day together, but how much are you actually interacting with each other? And so I really loved that he would always choose quality time over like quantity. So even if he's spending a short amount of time with me or my family or my friends, he would always make sure they've got his full attention. Like he would really make them feel, and he genuinely felt that way, that he was investing his full self into that moment. And I think that makes such a difference. And I never understood that at the time because it was always like, you know, when you're spending time with family, it's just family time. But it really made me think about how I spend time with people rather than the amount of time I spend time with people. And that's why it's actually really annoying, but he remembers everything. Like he remembers everybody's name, everything I said like 5 weeks ago, everything I was wearing. Like it's an amazing quality, but it can also be very annoying because I don't have that memory. So he's like, no, you said this like 3 weeks ago. It's like, no, I didn't. But I don't have like a book that I write things down in, so I have to take his word for it. But
five almonds a day, guys. Five
almonds, yes.
As my mum would tell me. But no, thank you. I really appreciate
that.
Yeah,
I remember
really
that
kind,
from quality time.
And you know, she'd always make an effort to, and this is where it comes to using your skills and talents. Like she'd always make an effort to like cook amazing stuff for my family. I remember when you made my sister a minion cake for her birthday.
That took me a day and a half.
And it was
so worth it.
Like it looked so good. Like and I love minions too. So it was so cute. And my mum still remembers the first tort you ever made.
When I first came over.
Brought it over when you first came over. And it's those things. So, you know, using your talents, using your skills, and people appreciate that even more than like taking a week or taking time, like she's saying, like quantity, but the quality of a thought.
Yeah.
Right. Even when people say like it's the thought that counts, it's not. It's the quality of the thought that counts. Like that's where we make an impact in people's lives. Third topic that our friends want us to discuss is love languages. And realizing and recognizing our own love languages and the love languages of someone else. So if you don't know what the love languages are, it's a great book by Gary Chapman. I've made lots of videos on it. So there are 5 love languages, and the 5 love languages are quality time, touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts. So all of us have multiple love languages, but we have a priority, a hierarchy order, and we both mostly value 1 or 2 as our top love languages, and everyone has them. So you can think about yours as well. This was an interesting lesson for me in relationships.
It took a while for us to get there.
Yeah.
Definitely took a while.
It did.
And we got it really wrong for a long time. Like it was definitely been a journey. It's so easy to always want to give other people what you love receiving or what you love doing for that person. And I feel like your love languages can be different in what you like giving to other people and what you like receiving from other people. Like I love cooking for people and I really appreciate a good meal, but I wouldn't necessarily say that that's my way of showing love. It's not necessarily my way that I feel love given to me. And I think it took a lot of trial and error it was a serious experiment going on for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Until...
And she's holding back right now, but literally Radhi is hilarious. Like she's the funniest person I know. She makes me laugh the most.
I'm a bit nervous right now.
And when and she's getting into it. She's getting into it. You just need to go find some stories on Instagram. But when I first met her, and when you see her, you're like, oh, she's an elegant, elegant, graceful young woman. And I was just like, okay, so maybe she likes like grand gestures and elegant, posh places. Like that's what I thought. And this just shows us how the media makes us assume what people like, or we, based on how someone appears, we assume what they like. And so that's what I did. I got it completely wrong. And I remember organizing our first date. We went to watch a theater show, which was actually really fun. And then we went to this restaurant that I booked, very posh, very grand restaurant. And I thought that's what I needed to do. And I was totally wrong. Like we sat there, she looked so uninterested in this space.
And I had to wear heels, and I don't wear heels.
Yeah.
Like literally, it was like I was in a dress I wouldn't normally wear because I thought that's what he wanted. So I was literally in like a dress like a really girly dress, which I wouldn't normally wear, and heels, which I normally wouldn't wear. And so we were both sitting in this restaurant. And I was really hungry at the end of it. And I said to him at the end, I was like, look, even if you just take me on a walk in a really good supermarket, or what do they call it here? Grocery store?
Yes.
Grocery store, supermarket. I was like, that is like the most epic date you could take me on. Get me a few treats from from the shelves. We'll go down the gluten-free vegan aisle. That would be the best date. And so after that, I think you kind of started understanding.
I think I still got it wrong a few times.
A few times.
I think it was just, and this is my point. Like we all get stuff wrong because of previous experiences, the media, what we think, like all that kind of stuff. And I got it wrong for a while.
It did take a lot. And even when and he's a gifts person.
Yeah, so I'm gifts and words of affirmation.
And I think I'm definitely words of affirmation and quality time, maybe? Yeah, quality time.
Another thing about our childhood, etc. I've loved surprises since I was a kid because my mum would always surprise me on my birthday. And so I'd really encourage you to reflect on where your preferences and priorities and things that you love where does that come from? So for me, my love for surprises in life and in everything comes from my mum surprising me on my birthday. And I've never, as you grow up, surprises become harder and harder to do for people. Mm-hmm. And last year she organized the most epic birthday surprise ever. So it happened 2 months after my birthday, so I was not expecting it at all. She told me she was like cooking and catering for a friend's event. So she was cooking this whole week, like working so hard on all of this stuff. And I was just like, how important is this friend? Because she was going through extreme lengths. And I was like, wow, like she's really dedicated to this friend. And that was cool. Like I appreciated it. And I was like, I love seeing her in her element and loving cooking for someone that she loves. And that was beautiful. And then I think I'm going to an event with my manager and my team the same night. So I'm like, oh, sorry, I won't be able to make it to your event, etc. Like I've got this, you've got that, have fun. Like I hope it goes really, really well. And then I turn up, I open the door to this event and it's like all of my friends from LA, like everyone that I love, everyone that really loves and believes in me, like they were all there. Everyone showed up. She made sure that literally every single person that I care about was there.
I was like a stalker girlfriend looking through his phone at everyone that he mentioned. I'd be like, let me find that person's number. Let me get that person's email address. Yeah.
And literally it was genuinely after my wedding, after that, the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like it was that good. It was just amazing. Like she'd completely outdone any expectation I could have ever had.
Which was the hardest thing ever for me because it was the first time I wanted to show him that I really understood his love language, and also like the effort that you go through to make something like that happen. One, I had no idea until I actually started going through it. And usually I would get to a point where I would find like a obstacle and I'll be like, you know what, I'll just take him somewhere instead. Like forget it, I don't need to do this. But he puts in a lot of thought into a lot of the dates that he plans. And so I really, really wanted to show him that I really understand it and like that I've observed things about him and I really notice what he loves and appreciates. And so it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Like it was so hard. I'm not a planner. I'm not good at organizing. I'm just, it's not my, like, I wouldn't say it's my top 3 skills. Let's just say that. But I was just so happy that I did it and it was genuinely like the love that I have for him is the only thing that got me through it, because otherwise I would have just basically never called me for party planning. Never.
Well, and it just shows like we've been together now for nearly 6 years.
Yeah.
And it takes time to learn about each other. It takes time to grow each other. But the point is, are you waking up enthusiastic and energetic every day to fall in love with that person again? Like, that's the question you have to ask yourself. Like, are you looking for more reasons to get that person to change for you? Or are you looking for more reasons to be like, no, I want us to fall more in love. I want us to learn about each other. I want to give more to you every day. I want to be better for you every day. Or are you looking for how that person can be better for you? And if it's the other way around, then most likely that relationship's not going to last too long, or it's going to be very one way. But if it's like, how can I be better for that person every single day? And it may take time, and it has taken us time to completely understand each other more, etc. And we've been through a lot, and I want to get to that as well. But that, you know, it takes time, and it's okay as long as you're waking up every day with that intention, with that motive, with that desire.
Yeah, I definitely think it's about what you feel you're bringing to the other person rather than what you feel you can get from the other person. I think that makes such a difference, because
when both people do that.
Yeah, when both people do that, when you feel like, okay, well, this is what I can provide. Like, and I love what you say about everyone having different skills, because even in a relationship, I think we are very different in a lot of ways. In majority of the ways, we're very different.
I had to say we're totally different.
Yeah. And so instead of seeing that as things that are taking us apart from each other, I think we really tried to say, okay, cool, I love being in the kitchen, for example, and you're really good at doing all the math stuff to do with bills, and I really don't want to do that. And so instead of trying to be like, oh no, we should be equal in, like, you know, doing this and doing that, no, let's just play to our strengths.
And the key to that, I love that, and the key to that is valuing what the other person brings as equal to you. As
equal, yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's not saying, oh, if your skill is different to mine, but my skill does this, like my skill fulfills this, or my skill sorts this out, like that's more important. And I think that's where it gets hard, where we either try and equalize our skills, which I agree with you is not a good idea. It's good to play to your strengths. Or the opposite thing people do is they do their skill, but then they think their skill adds more value to the relationship. And I think that again just ruins it. Like, it's like you're on a team. Like when you look at a sports team, one player can't say I'm more important than the rest of the team. It's a team game, and I'm going to try and do a food analogy now. I'm trying to give a food analogy now.
Don't try.
Hear me out.
Okay, go.
Okay, like one ingredient can't be like the other ingredient. I'm more important than you.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's good. Yeah, because you need all of them.
Unless you're salt.
No, but still,
yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
You can't have one ingredient that's more important than the other ingredient, and
it's true.
So,
I totally agree. No, I agree. You did great. That was a great food analogy. When we were in New York, I remember he was working at that time for Huffington Post, so he was out most of the day, and he would just come back in the evening. And he would come back, and I would have just finished cooking, and he would always be like, oh, like, can I do anything for you? Can I wash up? Like, you've been working hard all day. And that for me was such a big thing, because it's like, actually in my mind, it was like, he's been working hard all day, but he would come home and ask me if I needed a massage, or if I wanted him to wash up or do anything in the house. And like, a lot of people think that should just be a given. Like, oh, like, yeah, I've been doing the house stuff all day, so come home and you should be washing the dishes. But I just think, actually, if you see it as, that's such a sweet thing for him to have done in my eyes, because he could not do that. We could all just not do a lot of things, but if we put in that extra bit of effort and show that person that I value you and what you're doing just as much as I value what I'm doing. Like, people, you know, going to work seems like you're going out and doing the hard work, but you also saw that I was doing the washing or the cleaning or the cooking, and you valued it in the same way as going to work.
It's not about doing the activity, it's about putting your heart into it. Like, it would always be like, oh, it was the other day, I was just like, we just got back from India. And when I'm in India, I eat dosas a lot. Dosas are incredible. If you know what they are, if you don't know what they are, go get a dosa.
Yes.
And I love them. And I was literally just like, I miss dosas.
Every day, every morning. I was like, I miss having an Indian breakfast.
And the next thing I know, she ordered a dosa maker and we had dosas. And
it went terribly wrong, everyone. Terribly wrong.
But still, I loved it. Like, it was the love in it. And I think that's the same, you know, she believes in cooking with devotion and seasoning with love. And for me, she lives that every single day. Like, there's not a day when I don't feel like food is an offering of love. So then you can't help but value it. Like, it's not hard. It's not hard to value it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thanks.
But yeah.
This is getting a bit sweet, isn't it?
I know. Why don't you change it up?
Yeah.
I'm leaving it to you to make it funny. See, I'm the romantic in the relationship.
Yes.
She's the comedy.
This is always the case. Like, his cards to me.
So this is a rom-com.
Yes, this is the rom-com.
Yeah.
His cards to me are like the sweetest, really genuine from the heart. And my cards are like funny, weird poems that are like, I really like your face. you don't know how to make cake. Like literally, that is what my cards were like. I think maybe 1 out of
She's not
15
lying.
cards were maybe somewhat like sweet and loving, but otherwise, yeah, I've always been the jokester, and you generally are the sweet one.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. There's a. I'm gonna live up to my romantic tag in this relationship. If you want even more videos like this one, click on the boxes over here. Now, I'm really excited to let you know that you can now pre-order my new book, Think Like a Monk, and you can click here right now to do that. Pre-order it today.